G'day everybody and welcome back to Risky Rollers. I'm Dalton and I'm joined here for the first time this week by Matt from Beyond Games.
G'day everybody.
Great to have you here. Trip from WA went alright?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it was an arduous journey, but
That's good. So Matt and Peter from Beyond Games and Hobbies over in WA will be joining us for the rest of the weekend, both for today and then tomorrow for our list breakdowns, and then for the weekend as guest commentary to help us stream and bring to you coverage of the entire Australia-New Zealand Team Championship 2024. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be.
Yeah. Today we are going over the team lists and lineups for Team Victoria Mercenaries and Team South Australia. This isn't going to be a in-depth, detailed list breakdown. Rather, we're going to go over each one, have a little bit of a chat about them, and encourage you guys to ask any questions you've got about the list or anything you're going to see on the weekend. Ask them in the comments below. We're going to troll those comments and bring them back up on the weekend. We can go and interview players and ask them the questions that you want answered. Make sure to get down in the comments and let us know. And then before we begin, I do want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors. That's General Games, Dice Arcade, Miniature Scenery, Baron of Dice, and Proxy Wars. Check out them linked in the description down below, and make sure to check out Beyond Games and Hobbies, also linked in the description down below. Yeah. Cheers. Otherwise, yeah, let's crack right on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's have a look at the Team Victoria mercenary list. So, for anyone who's not familiar with a mercenary list or mercenary team, they're functionally a Gumby team. There were odd numbers of participating teams, so the home state, in this case Victoria, because this is being hosted in Victoria this year, have to provide a team to fill numbers. And that's why we have a mercenary team. That said, it's not a team to be scoffed at. We've still put it together with some of the best players in the state, and they've been working very hard to bring their A-game to the weekend. And it's not unheard of for the mercenary teams to actually do quite well.
They've got a point to prove.
They do have a point to prove.
Yeah.
So, let's start with list number one, with Alex Franz on the Necrons.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I've got a few notes here on this one. It's he and I talked a bit about the list the other day, actually. He's running the two Catan, the Nightbringer and the Void Dragon, a bunch of Cryptex going into different units, and then he's got a single Hexmark Destroyer. What a mad lad. The Gloctopus.
Yep. Obviously, for secondary scoring and...
Absolutely.
Yep.
And being like, having a weird amount of damage return if you put, put incidental fire into him and he survives.
Yeah. That's good at Overwatch as well in circumstances as well.
Can be, yeah. And then you've got Imhotep the Stormlord and Illuminor Seraz. You've got 20 Immortals, a unit of Deathmarks, a Lone Destroyer, 6 Wraiths, and then a Monolith.
Yeah, it's an unusual list, I think, because it's so character heavy. But the Catans are doing so much work in that list.
Yeah. You can almost exclude the Catans from the characters because they don't act like a character where you've got these buffs and these things that they go and make the rest of the army better. They're... Like they used to be in the elite slot, now that doesn't exist anymore, but I still kind of think of them as existing over there. Yeah. They're like a different class of unit.
That's right, yeah, they're very powerful. They can take on all sorts of... Nothing kills a Catan easy.
No, yeah. And so running in a Hypercrypt as well, you're going to have the uppy downy each turn. Yeah. You're going to be super mobile, and you've got a bunch of different utility units to get around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Moving on to the next list, we have Thousand Suns. And I believe it's Ben Kubra? No? Oh, of course, Augustus Hebblewhite. Hebbles. What a mad lad. Shout out to Gus.
That's a great name.
Hebbles.
I was looking through the names last night, and I was like, some of these names, like you could create a team just...
You definitely could, yeah. So Augustus Hebblewhite on the Thousand Suns. I've just written down here, this is the Power Armor variant of Thousand Suns.
I've actually just lost the...
Fantastic.
Roster.
I've got most of it memorized. So you've got 3 Sorcerers on disc. You've got 3 Infernal Masters. So where are we? Yeah, 3 Sorcerers on disc, 3 Infernal Masters, Magnus the Red, of course, and then lots of Power Armor. Yeah. I think he's running 4 or 5 different Rubrique units.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I think, a single unit of Zangors and a couple of units of Zangor Enlightened, and I believe a couple of Rhinos to bust them around in.
Yeah, okay.
So, not the traditional goat jail that you're used to seeing with T-Suns at the moment, but more of a Power Armor heavy list.
Yeah, okay, but this is a teams environment, so it's a slightly different composition. Thousand Suns in this environment, you reckon?
It can be. We've talked about a couple of different Thousand Suns lists. I think yesterday we talked about a goat jail list.
Yeah.
This does feel a little bit different, and I think you'll see some echoes of this, I think, tomorrow in the Team VIC list as well, where they're playing around with the idea of actually relying a bit more heavily on the power armor and the damage output and the flamers that you can bring.
That's right, yeah, they're pretty intimidating, especially if you can turn someone's armor off.
Absolutely, yeah. And then you've got all the characters throwing out mortal wounds. Magnus the Red, his wingtips spitting lightning around corners. Like, yeah.
Yeah, feels dodgy, but sure.
All right. The next one is Chaos Knights with Ben. Yeah, so Ben Ashton on Chaos Knights. Seen it before, we've given it a score. It's the Stalker, it's the 5 Brigands, 6 Carnivores, 2 Nurglings, and the Poxbringer. That's it.
Okay, sure.
That's all.
I mean, it's just War Dogs.
There's, yeah. Yep.
Seasoning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only different thing with this list is that you've got the Poxbringer instead of the 3 Nurglings. You've got 2 and a Poxbringer. That's it. It's not the only list doing it either, so there's a few of those around.
Yeah. What does the Poxbringer bring to the list?
It's a very good question. Okay. It adds another leadership buff.
Which doubles down on what the Chaos Knights are doing.
Because you've got the aura, it's Aura of Despair or something like that, which is the enhancement you take on the Stalker, which also does the same thing where it puts this negative leadership buff or debuff around. Right. So it stacks with that and just really leverages their battle shock, which can be hard to do well, but when you can pull it off, and in teams when you can throw them into armies that will suffer for it, it's a really big deal. And look, getting Custodians to leadership 8 instead of leadership 10 is pretty big.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. I mean, if you start
as in leadership 10 rather than leadership 8, which is...
Yeah,
because leadership's silly this edition. Yeah.
So changing it by 2, either way.
Yeah, you're changing it by 2. I think the maths are the same as taking from leadership 10 to leadership 8. It's from leadership 6 plus to leadership 8 plus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So that's there. Then next up we have Imperial Guard. This is Ben Kubra. I had them mixed in my head before. Got a Scion command squad. All the traditional things you might expect. Lord Solar, Ursula Creed's in the backfield. A tank commander.
2 basilisks.
Then artillery, double Bulgarin. He's got a unit of Rough Riders. So he doesn't have any Bulgarin, he has Rough Riders.
Right, okay.
That was the interesting thing with this.
So the Rough Riders have the regiment keyword.
You can, and they've got their Melter Lancers, which are into the right target, pretty silly. Yeah.
It can be very, very dangerous, But they're also fast moving as well, and you can get them up to objectives late game.
Between them and the Sentinels, you're running 2 units of Scout Sentinels. As long as you don't get them picked up early, they're really good late game objective grabbers. Right. And then you've got 3 Russes, so a tank commander and 2 regular Russes. I believe Demolisher Russes. They're the good ones. Yeah. Then we have Edward Askey on the Tau. The notes I have down here is just the name of the list, which is the double triple.
Double triple. So let me guess. Double Ghost Keel.
Nope.
No. Double Riptide.
Nope. So the double triple is actually, it's a reference to multiple things. There's 2 triple things in the list and 3 double things in the list.
Okay, and none of them are Ghost Kills or Riptides?
No, there are 3 Ghost Kills and 3 Riptides.
Oh, both, right, okay. Right.
So triple Ghost Kill, triple Riptide, double Piranha, double Breaches in Devilfish, and then is it double Tetra or double Pathfinder? Double Pathfinder. And that's the double triple and the triple double. And then you've got no hammerheads in there, are there? Just long strike? Oh, double hammerhead. Yeah, so that was the other double, was the hammerheads.
It's the list that just keeps coming, isn't it?
It is.
It's like more and more stuff that's going to shoot you.
So much stuff that does so much damage, and it's really focused as well. I've seen him play. If you watched our coverage of the Team Australia fundraiser number 2, you would have seen him in the final round playing against Dark Eldar. Yep, Drakari. And he was running this list, or a very similar variant of it. It's really focused, and he can play it really well. I'm excited to hopefully see it on the weekend on stream sometime. Yeah,
it's very mobile, so that you can firepower and just focus something down.
Exactly, yeah. And you can do that really efficiently.
I imagine it, right matchup, it'll play really, really well into.
Absolutely, yeah. Then next up, we have Lockie Callahan on the Dark Angels. So this, again, if you watched the Team Australia Fundraiser 2 stream, you would have seen this in round 2 against World Eaters, or a very similar version. It's the Bengal parking lot. You've got 5 Gladiator chassis, You've got
5 gladiator chassis.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
I think you've got 2
That's
land
investing.
raiders, and then you've got Azrael and the. Is it the Dark Angel specific one, or is it the? Yep. Okay, gotcha. So no more Blade Guard.
Is this the chap that was playing World Eaters against World Eaters on the stream?
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
saw that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Ironstorm. It's the Ironstorm detachment, designed to play better into the mirror. It's gonna play better into the mirror than say the BT regular list will. But it suffers a little bit.
Get into combat, and just get shot off the board.
Exactly, but it'll suffer a little bit in matchups where the BT list really shines. Yeah. Then we have my favorite list of this. Well, probably my equal favorite with the double triple is the Leagues list. This is being run by.
You're a Votan player, right?
I am a Leagues player.
I play Votan as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. We'll have to compare some notes.
We will, yeah. So this is a really interesting list. We're watching this quite carefully over the weekend because of the twist it takes on the current meta build for Leagues.
Yeah.
So he's only running 10 Berserkers and 2 Sagittars, so not maxing out on those. But it's then running 20 Hearthguard, the Terminators, a unit of 10 and 2 units of 5, 2 Iron Age Champions, and they're going into 2 Land Fortresses.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of points investment in these units. But if you're in teams, you're putting them something that can't deal with them easily, they're a real problem.
Conversion beamers on those.
Yes. Yeah.
All the bolt cannons.
Yeah.
And high las on the Sagittars.
It would be, yeah. So yeah,
nice.
It's not as mobile and it's not going to be able to control the board as well as a traditional sort of 5 Sagi list, but it's going to put out a lot of pressure early.
Any Hearthkin Warriors in that one?
No.
Interesting.
Then finally we have the captain of the mercenaries, the gentleman behind the camera over here, Lawrence Gutierrez, playing the Custodes, with a list that he's been refining over the last like 4 months or so. I think you've been working on this. This is just like the classic foot sturdies list at the moment. Okay. So you've got Trajan, you've got double blade champ, and a shield captain. Then got 2 units of guardians. You've got a unit of sisters, the flamers. Prosecutors, 2 units of prosecutors, triple wardens, so 3x5. Then you've got Inquisitor Draxus, and do you still have henchmen or not? No henchmen, just Draxus and the Calidus for the uppy downy. Again, much like Ed before on the Tau, it's really focused. Lawrence and Ed, obviously I know them personally and quite well, so I know how much prep's going into it. I'm sure everyone is. But seeing them play, they're really focused. The lists are refined to the point of like pretty much exactly everything is where it needs to be. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, it'll be good to see over the weekend.
Until after the event, and then you're like, oh, I should have just changed this. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that wraps up the mercenary lineup. We have Necrons, Thousand Suns, Chaos Knights, Imperial Guard, Tau Empire, Dangles, Leagues of Votan, and Custodes. Yeah. That's
cool.
Yeah, again, nothing super surprising there. You've got Guard and Marines, the 2 things that have been kind of surprising across the week so far. Seeing less Guard than we thought, and seeing a larger variety of Marines. So this is interesting to see Dark Angels coming out here.
It is interesting to see Dark Angels, yeah, and you're right about the Guard. The fact that in an 8-person tournament, you expect to see Guard in every team.
Especially given how prevalent Custodes are in this meta. Yeah.
Slowing them down.
Yeah. No Grey Knights in this team, though, which was something that we've seen more of than we expected to see going into the tournament.
Grey Knights are one of those armies that, right hands, they're very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Unless you're accomplished with them. Liability, I
Absolutely,
think.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the second team for today is Team South Australia. So let's start with their Necrons.
Yeah.
Have we managed to find them on there yet?
Oh, no. I could hand this back to Lawrence and he could fix that for me. I don't know what I did.
That's all good. So their Necrons are Canoptic Court. They're running the double Doomstalker, 3 units of 6 Wraiths, so 18 Wraiths, 2 Doomstalkers, 3 single Destroyers, a regular and then 2 Heavies. Imitate the Stormlord, and I believe just like 3 Technomancers.
Okay.
And that pretty much runs up the whole list.
So it's a bit of a roadblock. Wraiths aren't all that dangerous in combat, but they just don't...
Yeah. 6 Wraiths and a Technomancer are just awful to try and shift.
That's right,
yeah.
Thanks, Lawrence.
And then, Doomstalkers are firepower. The 2 Heavy Destroyers is a nice pick. It makes your incidental scoring units be able to hit that much harder.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, it's right on the bottom. Pretty close.
Yeah, in there.
Then next up we have their Imperial Guard list, and this is sort of like at a cursory glance, this is the list I'd expect to see going into this event. It's the triple Bulgren and triple Kasserkin list. So it's and then artillery.
Triple Bulgren and triple.
Yep. So it's all the damage output of the Kasserkin, it's all of the staying power of the Bulgren, and then it's artillery to slow everything down. The Bulgren try and out-custodies the Custodians, while the Kasserkin drop in and dump a bunch of wounds onto them fast.
And it's still got a couple of Scout Sentinels in there as well.
Of course, for the spotting for the artillery.
Chimeras for the infantry squads.
Yep. And then Leontis and Creed and so on, as you would expect. And
so the tank commander in there.
Tank commander as well. Then we have Tau. So this is like a variant on Ed's list. You've got Triptides, or triple Riptide. You've got double Ghost Keel, and then triple Hammerhead. So long strike and 2 Hammerheads. Then a few characters. I believe you've got Dark Strider in there. A couple of units of Pathfinders.
Okay.
Some Tetras and Piranhas for spotting. Maybe a stealth. I don't think there's a stealth team. I don't think I saw a stealth team in there.
Sorry, I'm having to re-scroll through each time I look at it now. So
okay, that's all good.
Yep.
So next up we have the Grey Knights. My only notes for this is it says GK, IK. Because these are just Imperial Knights. You've got Canis Rex, and then you've got 5 Dread Knights.
Okay. And no other units in there.
You've then, I think you've got 2 what's this? This is SA. So this is the 3 librarians. I think there's only 4 Dread Knights in this one. The one, still 5? So yeah, still double Grandmaster. The next one's the other one there. So 3 librarians, 2 Grandmasters and Dread Knights, a single strike squad, then 3 Dread Knights, and then Canis Rex and the Assassin.
Okay. It's just intangible, isn't it?
It's just Imperial Knights.
Yeah, well, but it can move around like Imperial.
Exactly. Yeah. It's Imperial Knights. What Imperial Knights wish they could be.
Absolutely.
We've talked about this. I think we've seen at least one of these every night this week so far, and I expect we're going to see one tomorrow as well. The idea with this is just to play Imperial Knights with Armigers and Canis Rex with utility. Yeah. And then the mirror of that, the Chaos Knights up next. So this is probably the most interesting Chaos Knights list here this weekend, because they've got 4 units of Nurglings because they didn't take the enhancement on the Stalker. Otherwise, it's then Stalker, 5 Brigands, and 6 Carnivores.
What's the enhancement on the Stalker do?
That's the Aura of Pain, or Aura of Terror,
that's
for the -1.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So otherwise,
that's
it's
interesting.
Identical.
So, but they're not doubling down on the leadership thing.
No, they're doubling down. Well, they're using it to get an extra unit of Nurglings to help screen and do objectives.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't mind it, being able to use the Nurglings early, because they still infiltrate, using them early to go, even if I'm going second, which is the big loss for a CK player, because you can't control the center board straight away, pushing that many Nurglings forward and hopefully keeping your opponent off center objectives turn 1 means
it's a double-edged sword, though, because it potentially gives your opponent charge targets and things like that.
It's hard to do right, but if you can, I think having 4 of them gives you a bit more flexibility with it. It's almost like going second CK list. I
mean, there's potential for them being held in reserve as well, and then just like coming on to do secondaries. A lot of the army list composition.
Definitely, yeah. All right. Then we have Death Guard up next. This is Power Armor Death Guard.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. They're basically mandatory. A couple of Fetid Bloat Drones. And then you've got, I believe, 20 actual Marines.
20 Plague Marines?
Might even be 30 Plague Marines.
Yeah, right, nice.
With the grenade character, the Putrefier, I believe it is. Yeah, 3 of those. And the idea there being you're trying to lean into the durability and the damage output of Death Guard.
So there's no Light Lord, there's no Death Shroud Terminators in that list?
No Death Shroud.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mortarian. Yeah, right.
It's all power armor. Then we have Black Templars.
Yeah.
And this is the classic. It's not the classic Black Templar list, actually. It's a bit different. This has got 3 units of Incursors in it and 2 units of Scouts.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then some Crusaders. 2 units of 5, so not loads. It's got 3 repulsor executioners. So
It's an
3.
Ironstorm detachment. Is this Ironstorm? Yeah.
It's 3 Land Raider or semi-Land Raider chassis.
Yeah.
So they're going for durability, and then 2 Tech Marines to keep them alive, and 3 Impulsors to run everyone else around. So it's going to be interesting to see because it feels a little bit less focused than like a full parking lot list.
It's strange because it feels like there's not a great deal in that. The Tau list you were talking about before is like Riptide, triple Ghost Kill, double Hammerhead.
You just keep listing stuff off.
Yeah, and in that list you just seem to stop early.
Yeah.
So there's not that many moving parts. I don't know. Like
I think the 3 units of Incursors and the Scouts in this
Yeah.
are going to be way more impactful than they seem. Having
Probably.
the Infiltrate and then Incursors have the Stealth as well. Is that them? Yeah. That's... I
Scouts
think,
are fantastic.
yeah, I think they're going to be relying more on that than we think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally we have Sisters. Now, we've talked all week about the trade-off between Morvenval or the Triumph of St. Catherine.
This one's got both.
This one's got both.
Yeah, nice.
So you've got both the Morven and the Triumph, 20 Arcoflagellants, 10 Repentia, and then just like a collection of good stuff is what I've got written down here. They've got war suits, they've got some Zephyrim and Seraphim, they've got a smattering of the just regular Sisters, and then 2 Castigators.
No exorcists.
No Exorcists in this one.
Castigators.
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
And
I mean,
think some Rhinos.
Arcoflagellants are like wraiths. So
Oh, yeah. So they
through,
probably
aren't
hit slightly harder than Wraiths too, which I think
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
trade-off there. Yeah. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the South Australia lineup. We've got Necrons, Imperial Guard, Tau, Grey Knights, Chaos Knights, Death Guard, Black Templars, and Sisters for them. Yeah, again, not really seeing anything crazy here. This is the Grey Knights we talked about a little bit earlier when we mentioned with the Mercenary team not having them. This is just the Grey Knights as Imperial Knights. And then, yeah, back to Black Templars, but it's not the typical Black Templars list, which is quite interesting.
It's interesting to have 2 like knights
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah. I'm very keen to see how, because a few teams that have that, where they've got both of them, I'm very interested to see how they use them in pairings over the weekend. It's definitely something we'll be able to talk about on stream once pairings are done.
Very keen to see how the Grey Knights play because, like I said, they're really good in good hands and a massive liability.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, look, I want to say thank you for joining me here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave any comments down below with any questions at all you want us to ask any of the players or organisers or anyone at the event on the weekend. Make sure to show your love for Matt and Peter, who we'll probably see tomorrow night.
See too much of us, to be honest. Yeah.
Make sure to show your love for the Beyond guys coming all the way over from Western Australia to join us on stream. And otherwise, yeah, thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for Team Victoria and Team Western Australia.
Hey,
Bye.
thank you very much.